guide for new players who want to get started. I've had a lot of people who have shown interest in this game, at least somewhat, or I have pushed them into playing this. And I wanted to make a guide so that way we can you can hop into this game and make money really quickly and get through some of that dauntingness that this game has. There's a lot. It seems like there's a lot of stuff that comes thrown at you, but every single thing in this game is laid out for you one by one. So you learn the game as you go, and if you need a refresher, there are some pages on here that help you get through stuff. So let's go ahead and dive in, and I will start a new game here. You know, I've got a normal save here for 99 hours. Oh, jeez, no life. And I've also got one on the PC from when this game first came out, so I'm a veteran of this game. So there's a couple different modes. So creative mode is explore and create freely. No cost, no damage, no limits. I don't really like that one because other people can come and visit your worlds, and you'll have this amazing base and multiple bases all over it. But yeah, it's just something that I've noticed there. You got normal mode. It helps people explore and survive in boundless universe. It's the way the game's meant to be played. Survival is just more challenging, some more hazards, smaller inventory, things cost more. It just makes the game more difficult. And permadeath is exactly how it sounds. When you die for good. So, yeah, some suicides probably link with that. So for the point of this video, we're going to go normal, so that we can show you exactly how to get started and what I do to make the most money, and what I do to stay alive in this first part here, and some general tips and tricks on how to get stuff done. So let's go ahead and get started. So the guy that created this, Sean Murray, didn't have a publicist or anybody to tell him what you probably shouldn't say about a game. And a lot of the things that he was saying was stuff that he wanted to bring into the game, and was in the game, but was testing negative with their playtesters. Like the giant sandworms were inside the game on release, or originally, but they had to pull them to the playtest, but now they're back inside this game. So this game got a lot of flack when it came out because you could tell that it just was not living up to the standards that it had promised. But after the Origins update and all the previous updates that had come before, it's definitely what I expected it to be when I first got this back in 2016. So begin initialization, alright. So every time you wake up on some kind of hazardous planet. So it looks like we got a little bit of a radiated toxic planet. So it's either going to show up as radiation or toxicity. We have to deal with that.
Scanner damaged. Repair required. Aerial propulsion jetpack online.
Like this game starts off in like wonder.
Laser attachment operational. User initialization sequence complete.
Okay, so this tells you about your first world. Alright, so let me pause this just right away before we get started. I want to turn off the network just in case we get someone who randomly decides to jump in. Go ahead and add me, Veganza21 Nitro. So, a few things to say before we begin. You always start off on some kind of hazardous planet with your resources lacking. So one of the first things you want to do is find sodium
Radiation protection.
and find a cave, because caves keep you protected from the elements. Alright, so we got to get a scanner. So, fertile dust will usually be found in any sort of rocks, usually about this size. Anything bigger than that is usually needed an advanced mining tool. So, go ahead and mine this. We can't scan yet because that part's damaged. So one little trick about the mining tool is, as you can see the numbers that are above the mining tool, it does more damage and mines quicker the more energy that is being used. However, you have to be careful not to overheat it, or else it goes back to zero. But it's a really quick way to get stuff done. So let's go ahead and repair the scanner here. So you want to hit the middle button. The middle button will go ahead and bring up your inventory. The exosuit, starsuit, multi-tool. Let's go ahead and repair this here. Click X, and then you click the component. Alright, so let's go ahead and scan things, see what's around us. Alright, so we got some dihydrogen crystals. Got some sodium over there. Alright. So sodium is one of the most important things that you could find in this. You hit the right thumbstick to sprint. And as a little trick, if you want to jump forward... Oh, radiation damage. Okay, so good idea is once you get this first little bits of sodium here. So from... where was it? Oh, right here. These little plants right here. They're always these little yellow plants. You're going to want to go ahead and recharge your hazard protection. Automated distress signal found. Ooh, what could that be? So over there is going to be the ship. Every time when you spawn, you will always be facing where your ship is. So keep that in mind when I spawn there. It's always facing, it's sort of in the direction of that. So you want to look for stuff that has carbon in it. For carbon, recharges your multi-tool. Fertile dust, because fertile dust is used in just about everything. As soon as we get the analysis visor, it'll allow us to analyze these minerals here, so that way we can get a second attribute out of each one. So on toxic planets, it'll usually be like fertile dust and uranium, for example, as the second element. It's usually pretty random. So we get these all taken care of here. Some dihydrogen. Really just try to collect as much as you can right away, but beyond anything else, you're gonna want sodium. One thing about traveling around is you can sprint, right? But if you go ahead and hit the right bumper, R1, you do a melee. If you sprint and jump, which is the X button, right? Immediately after you melee, while sprinting, you will rocket forward. So here we go, sprinting, melee, and jump. See that? Whew. Now you gotta be careful while doing that, because when you're really low level, you know, you've just gotten started, you don't have much of a health pack, so you could get some damage whenever you do that. But whew, see that? Lets you get around a lot quicker. And once you start getting the upgrades to your suit, you can get yourself across the planets real quickly. That looks really radiated, huh? Wow. So looks like we're having some troubles finding a cave here. see what we got over here. Maybe by our ship. Or usually by the ship, there's a cave to start you off with. The reason why I recommend a cave so often is because it has lots of the materials that you're going to use on your journey through No Man's Sky. And it protects you from the elements of on the outside. So the toxicity, the radiation, all that stuff. So because a little bit of sodium I gathered, we'll go ahead, recharge that. Got a little bit of carbon, not much. Let's go find some more carbon here. So we don't have a visor, so all that we can do is look at some of the stuff on the ground and try to see what we got here. So we got little animals. Let's see. Carbon. It's kind of hard to tell what's a plant on this world. Plants are the ones that have the carbon in them in these games, but unfortunately, we started off on a toxic planet with some weird ass shapes. So we're gonna have a lot of fertile dust, and it looks like these little tubes here have the carbon. So carbon is used to recharge tool here. These dihydrogen crystals come in handy later on, but I'll show you a couple of handy ways to get all these items I'm picking up right here a lot easier, and you don't even have to be on the ground to do them. I don't want to overwhelm anybody with information here right away, so there we go. Get some carbon. So looks like we got some sodium down there. Let's get to the ship first. Oh, looks like down here we've got a buried research module, but we can't mess with that quite yet. So there it is. Everybody's first ship, unless you got the pre-ordered edition. So these require an Atlas pass, these little red things here. They usually just have some minor stuff in it. These usually contain ammunition, and sometimes they'll contain sodium nitrate, apparently. Damaged containers have little rust you gotta take out first. So some people like to collect the rust and sell them. It's one way to make a little bit of money to begin with. But with limited inventory we'll hold down R3 and just discard it. Wait for a little bit, and we'll get what's ever in the box. Dihydrogen, cool. Damaged machinery. Now a lot of people, they just discard this. But what a lot of people don't know is you can actually turn these into nanites by refining them later. I'll show you all about refining when we get to that point here. So, first off, let's interact with what we're supposed to here. I believe it's this distress beacon. Oh, carbon first, or oxygen. Oxygen comes in handy when it comes to refining because it can help you to double the things that you have, as well as convert things. So that is your lifeblood in this game, really. As it is in real life. Scenario iteration 2311876661T. Deleted. Boundary separation failure likely. Vessel 16 emptied. Cause Sentinel intervention. Deliberate transfer. Fresh iteration generated. Anomaly containment prepared. Iterations of what? Alright, so let's broadcast. Traveler anomaly detected. Anomaly is compliant position logged. System integrity scan initialized. Let's see what's all wrong with our suit. And our ship. So, do you see these little, before we go to that, you see see these little things right here that have carbon as their, or cobalt as their main things? They're little pillars. They're found on every planet. These are usually an indication that a cave is nearby. So there's one right over there. Now, we're going to want to get as much of this as possible. I'll show you why. Just trust me here. Cobalt is super useful. Oh, we gotta recharge a mining beam. We haven't gotten much carbon yet, but we're about to get something that will let us find more of it easier. So we hopped into that by holding down square. Atlas connection, intermittent, launch thrusters, offline, pulse engine, offline. I find myself alone on a strange world, unequipped and in danger. I have no memory of how I got here, no sense of it before. But this ship at least seems to recognize me. The controls react to my touch, or at least that of my exosuit. I'm not dead yet, and this ship is a lifeline out to the stars. So we can either read the log or connect the exosuit. So let's read the log first. Log 4925A, unavailable. Substituting data. Exosuit, connected. Suggestion. Pilot should perform maintenance. Select desired repair path. So, checking the data doesn't really do anything. It's just an option. So, repair ship systems. Self-guided repair protocols initiated. Wooga booga. Alright, let's go ahead and exit this. So, in order to fix that, it says we need a couple of things. So, let's go ahead and check our log here. And I believe it's already pinned. So, investigate and repair starship damage. The starship is severely damaged. Repair components from the inventory. Access the inventory using the middle button. Repair items using X. Repairs can be carried out in stages. The repair is now complete when each component is repaired. So before, it was very inconvenient. You would have to have all the parts ready to go in order to put them in. But now you can put each individual part in there and it'll save it, so that way you can come back with the resources that you need and not have to fill up your entire inventory just to make one thing. So let's see here. Some information about the planet that we're on. The catalog tells us about raw materials, crafted products. It's showing me a lot more than what you guys should be able to see, because I have another save that's just way further. This one, I guess I just don't have. I'll have to unlock that later. Oh, I know what that is. That is the emergency jump drive. Kind of pointless. So these are some of the things to kind of go through. Milestones, exactly how it sounds, you know, how far you get. The dominant life forms in the universe, so the Gek, Viking, Korvax, the different guilds. You know, you do missions for them. Your log is essentially, whenever you play a game, you know, there's always the quest log. That's what this is. There's Awakenings, which is the main one, where you want to repair your starship and multi-tools. And this is the current one where we're repairing the starship damage. The guide tells you everything you need to know to get started. So that's what I'm here for, to kind of give you a better idea on what you need to do. Hazard protection is vital if you want to plan to spend time away from your ship. Carry sodium or ion batteries. Ion batteries is really just a way to store sodium. Have a plan to find shelter in caves or structures. Many hazards are worse at night. Use a scanner to locate key survival resources. Now, we don't have the analysis visor quite yet, and we'll get there. And we'll get to the rest of the stuff here soon, but I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So before we get started with that, it looks like we need to craft a metal plate. So that was done by acquiring fertile dust. So fertile dust is the thing I just mined before. It's pretty much every rock in the game starts off with fertile dust. Or ferrite dust, I'm sorry. I need some more carbon, too. Pretty much any plant is carbon. So these big things are more decoration, but I can't really tell. It's weird. Okay, some carbon. Some ferrite dust. You're going to use a lot of ferrite dust in this game in its upgraded forms. So, recharge as much as you can. Alright. Let's go in the cave. So remember before I told you how to get around faster? You hit the melee button, and then the jetpack button. You go flying forward. It's perfect. See, look at that. We don't have to spend anything into the radiation just by going into a cave. So we're completely protected from the elements. But there are some dangerous things here, like that thing, which is hazardous flora. But by mining that, we get a variation of different survival stuff. This one is giving me sodium. Some ferrite dust here, cobalt. See if we got any basic plants here for carbon. Kind of. What is all that shuffling around? Are there animals around here? Oh, look out for that. It'll put out like this poison that'll damage you just a little bit. I'll just move past that real quick. But this is what we're really here for. Marrow bulbs. Now in a second we're going to be able to create a refiner. Marrow bulbs can be refined into the sodium that we need to survive. So let's find a little bit more carbon outside before we start going through here and mining all this out. Because cobalt is a great way to earn money early on. And while the jetpack's great at getting out areas, it does use a lot of oxygen inside your. Oh, look at that! It's just scooting around. Huh. Remember to hold it down, and you do more damage to stuff than you normally would if you just tap it, but make sure it doesn't overheat. Let's see here. Let's do some of the ship repairs. Let's make some metal plating. So we want to hit X. So in order to access our inventories, we hit the middle button, and that'll bring up our ability to craft products. Now, these other things here are just a way to filter your craftable products. But right now we'll just stay on the All Products tab. We'll go ahead and make a thing of metal plating. So it looks like in order to repair the pulse engine, we need one metal plating. We need a hermetic seal here in a bit. And the launch thrusters, we're going to need pure ferrite and dihydrogen jelly. Let's wait to see what the log says. Partial complete. Let's board the ship and see what we got to do. Guess it's our name. Functional. Starship critically damaged. Vital ingredients missing. Unable to synthesize. Hermetic seal. Request assistance. Recommendation. Iteration comparison reveals hermetic seal nearby. Salvage planetary chart from the distress beacon cache. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this thing here. So every single time, without fail, that you go off and go get that hermetic seal, about halfway to getting there, the game introduces you with a storm. And you can either try to tough it out by having a lot of sodium with you and constantly just refilling your sodium until the storm's gone, or another big thing that you can do is simply go into a cave and wait it out. So let's go in here, check out the planetary chart. You'll find more planetary charts later on, planetary charts later on in this game. This one is just going to let us plot a route to the hermetic seal. Pretty. What is that to the left of us? I can't really tell. So here's a little tip. We'll call these Vingan's tips. If you hit photo mode, so if you hit down on the D-pad, little directional pad, and you go over to photo mode, it'll pause the game. And you can change the height, raise the camera up, right? And you can see all around you. See what's going on. See, this is a pretty uninteresting planet. Oh, that's the height. So all these starter planets are pretty uninteresting looking, for the most part, because they're designed solely to teach you how to play this game. So if we look around, you know, we can try to see if we can find any extra stuff around here that might help us survive. So there's some sodium over there. So there's a giant cliff up there. We can't quite climb up there yet. Okay. And one of the cool things, if you need to see, you can hit R3, so the right thumbstick trigger, to change the sun to that direction. Let me get a better view. Now that doesn't change the actual time in this game, but it does change the it does change it for the camera itself. So it looks like we got some different colors on this thing. That's kind of cool. Alright, so we gotta get to the marked coordinates, but first I'm gonna go ahead and check out my exosuit. So there is a technology that we're going to get later that'll let us access the analysis visor, and that is probably the single most useful thing. So there's 3 different inventories. We have General, which lets you put technologies and cargo into one area. The technology section, of course, is just for technologies, and the cargo section is just for cargo. Now, to make things easier on yourself, so that you're not always scrolling around, just keep it inside the first area for now until things start to get really full. I like to put some of the items that I use all the time, like sodium and cobalt, into the cargo section, but I'll leave them in here for the tutorial that I'm running through here. So these geodes, you analyze them. They add to a pool of wherever you got the geode from. Let's go ahead and recharge your mining beam a bit. Recharge the hazard protection. Now the sodium nitrate, that's a double sodium, and it In a refiner it is. In real life it's sodium plus nitrogen. But anyways, um, sodium nitrate will actually refill your hazard protection quicker than sodium will. But we're going to use sodium for right now. Remember, on our way there, we're going to get hit with a storm. So, let's try to find some sodium before we make our way over there. So let's hit L3. So that's left thumbstick down to find some sodium before we start making our way over there.
Radiation protection. Falling.
Remember our trick, melee, and then jump. Whew. Melee, jump. Let's get places a lot quicker, and it's definitely going to help you get to the next area. So 970 units is, I'd equate it to about the same as about feet in real life, or meters. It's kind of hard to tell. They're just units in this game. But it's a little bit of a trek, so let's make our way down there. Let's go ahead and recharge our light support with some oxygen.
Recharge.
Weather approaching, radioactive superstorm. What'd I tell you? So let's go ahead and find ourselves a... Let's go jump here and find ourselves a cave. If we can find one. Or else we are going to be picking up as much of this sodium as we can and just trying to survive it out. See there? All these yellow markers? Sodium. And once this radiation comes in, like it is right now, uh-oh. Just keep making your way over there. Get there faster, we'll go into the melee trick where we jump forward. Now if you see on the bar on the left, the radiation bar, we're at 50% right now, so we're in a little bit of danger, but you can always stop, hit down on the D-pad, hit X to recharge equipment, click on hazard protection, refill it. There we go. Went ahead and added time. Ooh, I'm so used to having so much more jetpack. It's kind of weird. Scan for some more sodium. Whew. That reminds me of Boba Fett. I don't know why. Or Jango Fett, whatever.
Radiation protection. Falling.
Let's go ahead and recharge it again. So yeah, nothing to be concerned about with storms. It's a little scary at first because, I mean, look at all those effects on your screen. Like, it's kind of scary. It's a storm. It's taking away your only health line. Let's go into here first. So as soon as you go into any area with protection inside of it, like a cave or a building, your hazard protection will automatically be refilled without using any sodium, which I think is really useful. So, you know, you guys got nothing to worry about there. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and get out of there and out of here and get that hermetic seal and make our way back up the ship. Okay, let's get going. So these things usually have a little place to refill your first aid, which gets repaired automatically, but if you've been fighting with sentinels and you want to heal real quick and go back out there and shoot him again, you can. Always check these little orange and blue little cubes here. Cubes. They have encryption navigation data or nanites. Now, this hollow archive that's going to give us, this little hollow archive here that's going to give us a hermetic seal, normally gives us nanites, which is very useful for getting stuff in this game. No one making this recording in case leaving behind in the fabricator might be of some use. Visor damaged. Can't find ship. Alright, let's recover supplies. The log finishes and the machine wears to life, spitting out supplies. I have the hermetic seal, or I've always called it the hermetic seal. I guess I never really said it out loud. Hermetic seal. I need to repair my ship. Whoever it was that led me here, whoever left this message, perhaps they found themselves in the same situation as I do now. It's a lot of foreshadowing, you know. Ease up. So, little plants you find on the ground like that, just go ahead and hold E on them and you get a bunch of carbon. So let's see, we got an inventory here. We got ourselves some residual goop, some marrow bulbs, which can be processed. They're an agricultural substance. We got sodium and sodium nitrate. So one of the things we can install right away is an oxygen recycler, which gives us 10% extra support to our tanks. So if we walk outside, let's find ourselves a little bit of oxygen to make ourselves one of those, so that way we can survive a bit longer. See some oxygen-rich plant. We got one right over there. Oh, it looks like they gave us the analysis visor. Oh, we have to install it first. Carbon nanotubes. Okay. So let's hit that middle button here. Let's go ahead and, I don't want to craft it right there. We're going to craft it right here. Hit square to craft. Need carbon nanotubes. So we'll put this here and we'll see what carbon nanotubes. Alright. So let's go to our exosuit and see how we can make carbon nanotubes. Obviously carbon nanotubes, you need carbon. So let's go ahead and find the stuff that needs carbon. So you can shoot plants and trees with R2. So the problem is, the planet we landed on here doesn't have much in the way of trees, and the plants are these little tubes, so and they only give us 3 each, so it's a lot of nitpicking. Let's go ahead and scan again for that oxygen. I think we got off course here a little bit. Where'd it go? Oxygen-rich plants. Oh, it's over here. Oh, I think it's underground. Yeah, it's underground. We can't dig just yet, but eventually you will have access to a terrain manipulator. Carbon. I know we have enough to make a carbon nanotube, but we need a little bit more because we always need enough for our multi-tool. And I'm going to show a great way to I'm going to show you guys a great way on how to do that later on to get all the resources you need in just a real quick go. Okay, so we went ahead and crafted that carbon nanotube. And in our multi-tool, we'll go ahead and install technologies. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can hit X to install the technology, or you can pick up the nanotube and drop it into the analysis visor. It's installed. Let me show you what it does. So, Analysis Visor pops up here and it gives you information about the world around you. Alright? So it tells us the weather is unstable. Alright. Resources, medium. Fauna, regular. Flora, medium. Sentinels are sparse. Now when we look at different items here, we can hold down R2 while holding down L2 to scan different items. So this rock here gives us ferrite dust and uranium. And we also get money from scanning items. Now later on, at different stations and for different rewards, we get a bonus amount of units just from using an analysis visor. Let's see here. Oh, this one hasn't been scanned before. Let's see what this is. Again, ferrite dust and uranium. Just by scanning those few there, we probably collected around 800 units. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the tubes. Let's scan in here. Let's see what extra thing comes with this. Just carbon. Okay, that's fine. So we had to locate our starship. So if we look around, on the top of the visor there, and the top of our map in general, spin around, it's a little compass. We can see our starship. If we look there, we can see it. Whoop. I got the wrong button there. You can see the starship 722 meters away. Make our way over there. Looks like we're getting low on radiation again. Let's go ahead and recharge the mining tool with carbon. When you first start on this first planet, make sure that you're always mining. Hey, look at that! It's buried resource technology module isn't so buried. I wonder if I broke anything by doing that. Normally I have to wait till you get the visor first. Alright, so scan a little bit. There's some dihydrogen crystals, so we're gonna need these in a little bit to get our ship off the ground. There's a really easy method to making these. You just need a little bit of money. So whenever you see one of these pieces of broken machinery just lying around, there's always a buried technology module nearby. Every time. Let's go and take this out. Hit triangle to quickly put inside the exosuit. It opens up and gives us nanites, which you're going to want as many of those as possible. Nanites give you things such as ship upgrades, to suit upgrades, to class upgrades, just upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. That's what nanites are for. Look at that. Rocket power. So I've played a lot of this game, as you can tell, and where I'm at in this game, my boosters last, or my rocket boosters last such a long time. And the more you play, you know, you'll get there as well, and you'll see this trend where you'll just start taking off, and you can just pretty much just jet right over there instead of having to make this long trek. Oh, just go and scan this. Just go and get this uranium, because uranium does come in handy. Not as often as most things, but it I haven't identified this one yet. These little red dots. These little red dots indicate that there's little animals. So let's go ahead and scan them. Looks like it's a little family. Gives us 1,000. K. Budgeferosa. They're young. They have a symmetric gender. Alright. Behavior is friendly. Diet processed dirt. They've got green blood. You can kill them and they'll give you some stuff, but nothing handy right now. We've already collected everything out of there, so let's hop into our ship and get our radiation protection gauge back up for a little bit. Let's go ahead and access that inventory and put in that hermetic seal by hitting X. Pretty cool, huh? So now we need to fix the launch thrusters. Create dihydrogen jelly. So that's why we've been running around collecting this dihydrogen. We're gonna go ahead and craft with X dihydrogen. I'm going to show you a cool trick with this that lets you get more dihydrogen out of dihydrogen jelly than what you put into it. It's a very strange glitch that I take advantage of, and I think the developers are very aware of it because I've seen them do it in their streams, but I guess I just don't want to fix it for whatever reason. Let's go on the starship. Put that in there. Now, we need pure ferrite. So, we need advanced materials. So it's giving us a portable refiner. So we have to hit up in the D-pad in order to get one of those. But first we have to create metal plating, which requires ferrite dust. Luckily, we've been running around and we have 308. So we can go ahead and just create one metal plating. We need to gather some oxygen, so let's go ahead and scan our environment here. Okay, so we got some oxygen over here. Let's go ahead and make our way over there. It's one of the ways to get it. Remember, the other ways is by attacking those dangerous fauna inside caves. Fauna is another word for plants. But for whatever reason, the developers like the word fauna. Or I'm sorry, flora. Could just say plants instead of flora. I mean, would be botanists. Let's collect some more of these because we need some launch fuel later. It needs to come in handy for making that. Let's go to town. Crystal fragments. So crystal fragments can either be saved and sold for units, or in our case, since we're so early on, we need the parts are more valuable to us. So let's analyze these and get ourselves some more dihydrogen. Alright, so the first place to get them is from those little plants there, but we're going to go ahead and use the quicker route, which is by finding these dangerous little plants. And now we have a visor, we can scan for them.
Radiation protection stabilizing.
Look at that. Should give us a little warning indicator as we get close enough to them. Whoop. Where is it? Ah, there it is. It's on the roof. So if we so look at that. Primary element, oxygen, and sodium. So it really depends on when you run into it. This one gives us sodium. Oh, weapon charge depleted.
Technology recharge.
Let's look around here. Let's go and scan. Get ourselves some more units.
Units received.
Gives us cobalt and salt, platinum and salt. Pure, pure ferrite and uranium, but I don't think we can mine these quite yet. Nope, because it requires an advanced mining tool. So let's look for one of those little dangerous things again. Oh, we got one right there, looks like. A couple of them. This one's going to give us oxygen. It's going to give us sodium. And the good thing about doing it inside these caves is that you don't have to worry about all the shit that's going on out there. Because, I mean, when this game first starts off and you're unfamiliar with this, I can definitely understand it being a little overwhelming out there. I mean, it's a whole nother planet. It's kind of scary. So look around, see if we can find anything else in here. Looks like we're good. Just make our way out of here. We'll mine these little cobalt things later. We need carbon first. Alright. Little portable refiners. Normally I would build this inside a cave, but I'll put it out here just to make it a little more simple. So, in order to get started, we need carbon to put inside the fuel injector, and we need an input in here. So, feel free to mess around and look through your options here to see what you can refine. Now, we picked up these marrow bulbs because they give you sodium out of it. Now, we need some fuel. So we'll go ahead and leave that there for a second while we look for some carbon. Yes, you guys seen anything here?
Radiation protection falling.
Ah, here's a tube. Most of the planets you start on will actually have trees, so they'll give you a better head start when it comes to being able to mine carbon, but here on a toxic planet, it's a little devoid of trees, so gotta make do with what we got. Alright, R3 to sprint. Oh, a little more over here. Oh, depleted. Gotta use up that carbon we just used. Normally, we would have a lot more carbon by now, but this place is just devoid of trees, so... As soon as we're able to take off, we will have a whole bunch more. Ouch. See, that's what can happen. Let's put some of that carbon in here. And go ahead and refine this. There's so much more sodium than before. Now to make advanced furite, and pretty much any one of these substances except for oxygen, in order to increase its in order to increase the number of things here, like from sodium to sodium nitrate, you just refine it. So we're going to put ferrite dust in here, and out will come pure ferrite. We only need 50, but we're going to make 100. Oh shit, a little bit more. Oh well. Exosuit. Exosuit. Now, by holding R3, you can go ahead and just boop, pick this right up. You get all the carbon back, and you'll get the portable refiner in your inventory, which is pretty handy. So, a starship. Let's hop in so that we can recharge our radiation protection a little bit. Yeah, some pure ferrite. Alright. Launch systems are now available. Looks like we can take off. So, metal plating and dihydrogen is going to make these starship launch thrusters. However, the further we get in this game, there's going to be these things that allow these launch thrusters to be a lot more easily recharged. Like, some of them will be recharged by the sun, and some of them allow them to be just use less every time you take off. But anytime you take off from a landing point, like if you're on a space station, it won't use any thruster fuel. Let's go ahead and rename this to something silly. Let's call it Dumble. Dumble food. I don't know. It's late. I'm not creative. Here's our first ship. The Dumble food. Beware. Our enemies do. Alright. So we're going to take off into space. Hold R2. Goodbye, starter world. We hate you. Just kidding. Before we leave. So hold L2 to slow down a little bit. If you hit down on the D-pad, you can go over to Utilities and change the view of your ship. It makes it a lot easier to see. And if we hit X, we can shoot at the things on the ground. And by shooting at some of these things, we are getting resources. Look at that. Uranium is coming in, ferrite dust. just by scanning the ground and shooting a little bit. Oh, it's overheating a bit. And I'll shoot out rocket launchers. That does a pretty quick job of it too. It's a real quick way of getting materials when you don't feel like using the multi-tool. Look at that. Look at all that damage we're doing. Just doing little circles like that. Or shoot out the little ballista. I guarantee you no other YouTuber has taught you... Oh, we killed an animal. No other YouTuber has ever told you how to do this because, let's be honest, you kill animals when you do it, and killing animals doesn't look good for YouTubers, so let's go ahead and put this into our regular inventory. Look at that. We got some Mordite, which is used for farming, and this is used for eating, really. But we'll go ahead and leave these in here for now. So look at that. Look how much furite we got just from shooting the ground. Let's take off. Pull down B to really jump it. Six planets hosted by the Korvax in an industrial developing system. Wow. Look at that planet from down below, or up above. Wow. Okay, test thrust controls. Hit R2 to go forward. All right. Boost, circle, or O. And then the pulse engines are what lets you travel really fast. And we're gonna go into first person when we do this. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it, but if you look on the little compass right in the middle of my screen on the heads-up display of this ship, there's a little diamond that indicates space station. So that's the general direction of the space station. I think it's hiding it from us now because, you know, we're a little new. But there we go. It works. Look at that. We're moving. Ooh, we got a frequency. Please identify yourself. I'm... Darn. If only it didn't static right before we heard his name. Let's identify ourselves. You are not alone. Follow the... The broadcast ends as strangely as it began. The final piece of signal appears to be a set of planetary coordinates. Input coordinate data.
Alert. Navigational data received.
Cool. Right. So using the compass, we see it's over there. Or we can go to the station. Or we can go to here. But let's start off with the tutorial first so that we can get some of the building parts. So this is an undiscovered planet. So in order to see kind of what's on it, if you don't really feel like going there and you go into a new system, L3 to scan it. It's a fiery planet. It's got cadmium on it. It's got all the nice stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, solarium. Selenium, copper, phosphorus, and cobalt. This is the main stuff you can find on the surface. Kind of cool, huh? It's a pretty good starter system. Looks very pretty. Titchingham Jewett. Through the atmosphere. Just planet's a little bit prettier than the last one, but we're still at the beginner world, so things are made to train us. Still kind of interesting. Now look at all these little bulbs outside. There's some spaceships flying in the distance, and the stars that are near us. Let's see what we got. Some birds up in the sky over there. Let's hop out. (120 to 1 degrees). Yeah, okay, he needs a spacesuit for that. Yeah, go to the southwest, bud. And save to restore point. So every time you save one of those, it gives you nanites, and it kind of tells you a little information about where we are. So this is the Zoo Guy floodplain. Broken technology, the sparkling of wires, and the machine generates a signal, tapping out its broadcast into the void. Whoever left the message is long gone. Decoding 16, 16, 16. No fuel and failed to reach station. Has protection low. No choice but to underground. Deployed base computer. Cool. So you're going to give us plans for a base computer and a terrain multiplier or manipulator. With any luck, the base computer will hold more information about whoever is leaving these messages. So extract the plans. So this is the second time we're going to be hit with a storm. Is right after you build the base computer and you're trying to build your base, it's going to start. It's going to start going after you with stuff. So before we do any of that, let's scan some of these things here. We have phosphorus and ferrite dust. Phosphorus helps. So essentially, what you find on the planet's surface is what helps you with that particular planet. So phosphorus helps you with hot planets. It helps cool your jets. And another planet is uranium, which helps with toxicity, and also it helps with radiation. So we got some cobalt here. So we're gonna go ahead and make the terrain manipulator first. So I'm harvesting copper. So remember to hold down the button, because the longer you hold it down, the more damage you do. Look at that. We're going from 40 all the way in the 90s, 100s. Just be careful with that bar up top that we don't hit all the way red. And also, look at the beam. The beam will get red right before it's about to overheat, so make sure you walk that line, you know? So we can harvest a lot of cobalt, which we're going to need later. Or copper, I'm sorry. We're going to need this cobalt for later, so I always like to collect a little bit of this, because look at its value. 51,000. And we just sat there mining for a little bit. Now, later on, in normal mode, you can have 9,999 to a stack. Right? So, if you have enough of these, you can actually crash an entire economy and get it all back for a cheaper price, because they have way more than they need. So let's scan around in here. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got a stalactite, stalagmites. I think it's the difference. They're tight because they're on the walls. I don't know. Is it marrow bulbs or just regular lights? Alright, so let's create our multi-tool. See if we can make the boltcaster now, a personal force field. Multiplier. So the boltcaster's an energy weapon, helps you fight off stuff. The force field, it's okay. Just put it up to protect yourself against incoming fire from sentinels. But we'll get started by placing in the train manipulator. So let's see, 2 carbon nanotubes and 1 dihydrogen jelly. So in our exosuit, we have enough dihydrogen to make hydrogen jelly. And for carbon nanotubes, we need 2, so we need 100. So in order to make more than 1, you could just hit build twice, or you hit R1, and we're building times 2. Now we're really low on carbon, so we're going to need to get some more here in just a second. So let's go ahead and install this. Now, the train manipulator is great for a couple of reasons. It helps you create emergency shelters in the middle of storms. And helps you flatten out the surface for other stuff here. So it looks like we got a storm incoming or something. Ooh, look at this big monstrosity. These are the type of plants we should have been seeing on the homeworld. So carbon and nitrogen. Oop. Look at that. So much more carbon. This thing has a pretty far range too, so we can go ahead and mine that one over there. Careful of the beam. Boom. Look at how much more that is. There's no shame in just restarting your game if you get a bad spawn. So once got carbon and oxygen. It's pretty useful. Looks like there's 2 different species of oh. Damn, alright. Look at that. Just enough. Alright, so with the train manipulator, there's a couple different modes. There's the regular mining mode, right, which just boom, right? And we get silica powder from that, which is good for making glass, and that's about it. Now if we switch the alt, we can create, which doesn't actually use anything, but you know, you can change the size, you can change the shape by hitting square to a square. But this is my favorite mode, flatten. Because if we want to quickly make a base, we just boom. Everything in this area is now safe to live in. We are now cave people. This is how things are. Look, see that? We don't even have to leave the cave. Oh, let's analyze it actually. Red bulb trees. There we go. Let's see how much we're rocking now. 141. 10 oxygen. We use some more oxygen. So we could either scan for some of those little oxygen buds. Just kind of look around, see what we got. Not much. But we do know that these plants have oxygen built into them. These little skinny ones right here. So let's go ahead and mine that away. Let's see. Whoa. What the hell is up there? What weird animal are we about to find? I can't even see him. Oh, look at these tiny little things. They're cute. We can create creature pellets to help them out, but we're a little busy at the moment. Let's see, it's got nitrogen. Oh, that's a plant right there. Let's see what that'll give us. Fakium. Looks like we're running a little low on oxygen, so we need to find some of these resource nodes here. Some sodium around here. I like how it's just blazing hot on this planet, you know, 125 degrees. Oh no. I think it was like 125 last month. Let's go and scan this. We can't use them right away, but let's see what's inside these more advanced ones. Pure ferrite and phosphorus. Oh, nice. Ooh, up here. Ooh, we have an entire orchard of selenium. That's cool. It's not really a priority right now, so we will kind of focus on just finding these much needed oxygen cells. Bet there's not too many of those small little trees, huh? I would have expected there to be more. What was that one down there? Certainly looks different. It's just carbon. Nitrogen. Some more plants for a different day, different tutorial. Well, there's some hazardous flora here. Let's go ahead and scan that. Let's be a little bit closer. So these normally have oxygen in them. Hazardous flora. See, he's gonna attack us right when we got near. You got it coming. Oh, this plant here looks like it might have oxygen. Who knows? I don't know. No, it's got selenium. There's a bunch of little animals everywhere here. It's just full of them. Remember, if you can't ever find what you're looking for here, just take a moment and either pause the game to think, or hop into your spaceship for a while and maybe try a different planet, because this planet sucks. Get as much oxygen as we can here. We're just not finding any of those oxygen-rich plants. Oop, got some hazardous flora right here, though. Alright, so our thermal protection is falling is all the way down, almost down to the bottom. So there's a little trick. You can make this mining beam smaller by hitting L1, the left bumper, or R1, right bumper, and making it bigger. Look at that. Made a perfect little hole for dealing with the elements. So if there's ever a storm that comes our way, we'll be fine. Let's make our way back to the ship. It's a little bit of a glitch that you can do. If you stand right in between that doorway there. Okay, like right here. Doesn't work all the time. Ooh, these light up. I didn't notice these before. Ferrite dust and phosphorus. Cool. Let's go ahead and hop inside the starship and let that fill up. And then we'll go on the hunt for copper. I hope this has been really helpful for everybody here that's watching. Oh, I need a drink. Got a little bit left of this one, so I'll be cutting this one a little bit short because I cannot talk while I cannot. Well, got a dry mouth. So, looking for copper. Copper will be found on a planet that says that it has copper. So if you look on the right-hand side of the screen, it says selenium, copper, phosphorus, and cobalt. So those are all the types of resources we're likely to find. And these little diamond shapes here all have the different types of deposits. So those are both phosphorus. Let's see. It's a cobalt deposit. Looking for copper. Cobalts. 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 Oh wow, I guess we're just unlucky, huh? Oh, can't find anything. Just move into a different area. Make our way that way. See what we can find now from over here. Still phosphorus. Make sure we keep mining these for the oxygen. Ooh, what are these? Navigation data? More navigation data. These are all little things of navigation data. Drop pod coordinates? What are these? Alien relic structures, huh? Never seen one of these before. See, even on a new world planet, I'm still blown away. Look at these condensed carbon. These are helpful. Might as well take care of these. Looks like it's cooling off for the night. Gotta tell you though, I don't think 121 degrees is hot enough to really warrant a spacesuit. Oof. Make sure you always scan these guys. You know, gives you a little bit of extra money. And when you get a scan, these little scanner modules later, you'll wind up making like $1 million for each one. That's not an exaggeration. Looks like copper's a little hard to come by, isn't it? This guy's got little lights on his back. Cobalt. Usually it spawns you near some. We just have not been very lucky. But I guess it just goes to show you that even if you're not lucky, you can still survive in No Man's Sky. Like, you just gotta do your best, you know? You'll pull through. Oh. Got a journey milestone, probably from walking. Ouch. Ouchie! I've just turned you into straight fucking oxygen. So these give you a surge to your jetpack. Look at that. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. Always like taking advantage of those. Copper deposit, finally! Only 1 million miles away from our ship. Well, there is another option. Instead of having to go all the way back to our ship, we can always summon the ship back to us. I'll show you how to do that once we get a bit closer. Oh my god, there's like 1 million of you. Wah, wah. Yeah, that's how you sound. Remember melee and then hold down jump. It's the X button. Or A on the Xbox controller if you're a crazy person. Okay, so there's 2 ways to mine stuff in this, or there's multiple ways, but using the terrain manipulator, there are some nifty ways in order to get more resources from the same exact deposit. Now, remember I showed you before you can extend this range? By using the smaller one, you actually get more resources, but it takes a longer time. Now at the beginning here, when you're just getting started, you should probably do this, right? Sit there and Mine at all. But because we're doing a tutorial and I want to walk you through this, I'm going to make it as big as possible. As much as we can, as quickly as we can. Really mine this out. This is a big node too. Normally when you find copper, it's you get like nothing. Once you have enough money, you're gonna find yourself just buying it from the store because going around and harvesting copper, ugh. Oh, there's a little damaged container on here. Let's see what we got. Let's go and remove the rusted metal. A Gek relic. So those are used to get the to get the Geks on your side. You'll meet the Geks here in a sec. Let's go ahead and summon Dumble Food. Let's hop into our ship real quick. So what we're gonna do, because every time that you begin work on this base, so right after we turn this copper into chromatic metal by putting it inside of a refiner, the moment after we do that, we are going to have to get hit by a storm. I don't know why the game programs it like that. Maybe it's to teach you to build faster or something. Game wasn't created by Germans, but you can see how. Alright. That wasn't a racism, by the way. That was just a examination of how thorough they are. Very thorough people. I'm German. Switch over to flattened. Because this allows us to really carve out a base if we're down deep enough. So we're not exposed to the elements, and we can just focus on working on our first base here. So let's go ahead and hit the up button. Put down that portable refinery made earlier. Put some carbon in there. And then we're gonna put, let's see, we need 30 chromatic metal. So we're going to go ahead and put our copper in here. And since we want to save some of this copper because it'll come in handy later, you can always hold down this button and get you all the way down to where you need to be when it comes to the amount you want to process. Now, there's a quicker way to do this, and for the life of me, I can't remember how to do it. You know, when it comes to the buttons in order to get how many you want on there. Anyways, okay, so we need 30, so let's go ahead and begin. It's pretty nice, huh? You know, let's go and take this, put in our exosuits, and put this back inside our bag. Now, we have a lot of stuff in here. So, in our starship, let's see. I'll make sure we have enough ferrite dust to do stuff with. We might have to change it to something else here, but we'll see. Okay. So let's go ahead and bring up the base computer. Searching cartographic archives. Universe archive search reveals no prior claims in this site. Sonar test confirms site is suitable for construction. Claim site, claim masters! Get some. Look at that, beautiful. It's like stars in the ground. the base computer, on top of giving you a place to make a base, also gives you brand new blueprints every so often. So make sure you come back and check your base computer once the timer is done with that you'll see soon. Storm sweeping across, but construction supplies low. Depositing shelter plans. Will need to back soon. Extracting plans. So making bases is pretty cool. So it taught us how to make all the wood stuff, which is made out of carbon. Now, unfortunately, we haven't been lucky enough to have a ton of carbon. So, we can go and escape our little shelter just for a second before the storm hits. Just, aiming at some of these here. Not sure if we're hitting it, actually. There we go. Some right there. There we go. Yeah, you get almost everything from a distance. Keep an eye on that gauge. Although I think it might use ferrite dust. I'm not entirely sure. Wow, they've stumped me. We're about to find out. Alright. So let's get our terrain manipulator out first here and flatten out a little bit more of this area. Give us some more room for our in a cave base. Break it all down. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Access the build menu. Let's go ahead and make a little shack. Alright. It's gonna be the worst place to live, right? So it does use carbon. We're gonna create a wall right here. Oh, quick tip, if you don't feel like moving around and, you know, doing all this stuff, if you hit L3, you toggle a build camera. And you can just place stuff.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
Oh, just look at that, we got a storm incoming. I'm both scared. Alright, and let's put a roof right on our little shack. Cool. Let's go inside our shack. Beautiful. I feel safe already. So spacious. A little tip for building real quick. When you hit the up button and you know your crafting stuff, you can go up and change the colors of what you're using. But if you hold down L2, where it comes up to delete stuff, you can go over to the right and change colors as you wish. So let's see, we're inside of this red planet in a red ground. So let's make a little red. I think they're kind of default red anyways, but how about something polarizing? How about black? So, at the beginning here, we do not have power, which is going to come in handy later on. We do have the ability to create lights, but I'm not sure if it'll be powered or not. Oh, yeah, see, insufficient power. So, in order to get the resources from that back, gimme! And we'll put let's put a little flag outside, so we know how to get back. Or, I don't want to go outside, so we're just gonna hit L3, magic button here, and flag marks the hole. Let's change the color to something here. Let's make it white flag, or black flag, as it goes against the color here. Black and yellow, black and yellow. All right. Look at that. Man, I made this house too big. It just barely fits in here. Just not enough room. Alright, let's go to the base computer and see what we gotta do next. Construction largely a second. Recovered salvage data from nearby plants logged. Scans indicate additional subterranean devices. Beginning search. Extract plans. Whoever recorded these logs evidently had some success. I have access to their plans, perhaps I can learn from their efforts. Construction research terminals. So this is what's going to help you find, or I'm sorry, by using those salvage tech data, the ones that I've been telling you that are underneath those machinery, and we collected one that was floating in the air earlier. You can go ahead and use one of those to make new stuff. So we can place one of those down here if we'd like, or we can make it in another location. Let's see here. So the construction unit takes 20 magnetized ferrite, which is pure ferrite put down into magnetized ferrite, so it's 3 times over. And once you progress in this game, you're going to be able to go to space stations and literally just buy them like they're nothing. All right. And we need some carbon nanotubes. But with the upload of our beautiful base here, which we will call, what should we call it? Something wonderful. Let's call it Hidden Dream Mansion. By Hasbro. Let's go ahead and trademark that just in case, get a little trademark symbol, if it's even available. Sony, you won't let me trademark this. I'm sorry, I've had a habit of speaking like Moira Rose from the show Schitt's Creek, and it's been a problem. Let's see, L3. Will that bring up a sign here? Well, I guess you and I both know that it is a corporation name, so we're gonna put a little thing here just to kind of indicate that hands off. You know, that's used. Hidden Dream Mansion by Hasbro. All right, capture new base screenshot. All right, now it's time to save. There's a couple ways to save your game in this, and we'll come back for part 2 here a little later. The first way to save is an autosave, which is when you get into your ship and you hop out. Restore point saved. And the other one is by using a manual save thing, which we don't have access to quite yet, but that should work fine. So, you know, I hope you guys learned a lot if you guys are watching, and the next time we'll get into